It's true though, man. Usually, something that happens in here, it's happened to somebody else. With 20 seasons, 22.
15 years ago. 15.
Yeah, 15 years ago. It was crazy.
15 years ago.
And, yeah, I don't know.
15 years ago, you couldn't even, like...
It's all about the people they put in the house, though. Like, my
It's all
first
about
season, like, oh, my gosh. There was... So imagine, like, I'm just, like, this carefree 25-year-old. I'm a little bit snobby, you know, like, whatever. But I usually get along with most people. But there was this guy in the house who was super controlling. And, like, I don't do controlling men. I was like, oh, he was the worst. He was telling me where to sleep or where I could, you know, like, all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, my God, is this man serious? And he was excluding me. And he, like, was targeting me. It was just really odd. I'm like, what is this man's problem? But, like, I realized early on, like, for him, I was no use to his game.
Right.
Because I was just a single woman. He's married, and he's, like, got all these, you know, he was, like, running shit in the house. And so I was like, okay, like, that's fine. You can treat me like that. And I got in a showman's, like, right away. And he targeted us, like, right away. And the guy I was in a showman's with was, like, his target. He put both of us on the block. No one would talk to us. Like,
They just...
yeah, it was like me and him, and we would just, like, go in our room and, like, hang out. And the whole house was with him.
That's so...
And he was like he's like a dictator, like, very controlling guy. And, yeah. And then we eventually got him out. But,
So neither of you went home?
oh, yeah, Michael went home.
Oh, really? That was early in the game?
It was week 2. Week
Dang.
1, like, I had, like, a really rough start. Like, we went in with a partner. My partner was taken out week 1.
Dang.
And then my showmance was taken out week 2.
Dang.
That is psychological. Like,
And then week 3, Kaser won HOH. And his partner was Michael, my showmance.
Ah.
And so he was like, you know, whatever. Like, there's just me and you. Because
Yeah.
everyone else was against
Right.
us. And so we got Kathy out. But they hated us. Like, from that point on, because they were, like, with him. That was, like, he was just one of those people where he could get, like, numbers on his side. And all...
Who was this?
Season 6, he had, like, all these numbers. He had, like, a large group. He had numbers around him.
Who was it?
His name was Eric.
Eric, okay.
He was, like, a big guy, you know, huge guy. And so whatever happened, things happened. He started, like, making too many promises, too many deals, and it came
Yep.
back to bite him. And then he became a target.
And what place did you get on season 6?
3rd.
You got 3rd?
I bet at the beginning, it was like, that seeing 3rd was like, wasn't even, after losing your partner, then losing somebody who was...
Yeah, I lost my
thinking,
partner, then I lost my showmans, and they all, like, hated me. They were like, she's the worst person ever. I hate her. And you could just feel it. Like, there was, like, this chick in the house. Her name was Yvette. I would try to be nice to her, and she wouldn't even talk to me.
Oh, God.
I was like, okay. Like, and it was all because, I found out later on it was because one of the guys in the house had, like, walked up to her, and he was like, Janelle says she's after you. And I had never even said that.
Yep.
And so that caused, like, the dissension with the women. It was like, they were like, Janelle's after us. And so, yeah, it was crazy.
No, that feels like...
Those were, like, the early days of the game, too, because I feel like if that happened now to somebody, like, she wouldn't ignore you now. You know what I mean?
Right.
She would be, like, acting like she never heard that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It was, like, a whole different
And
thing.
I never understood why she hated me so much. I was like, I wonder why she hates me so much. Like,
it's a fake seed.
It's interesting because then, you know, from a psychological perspective, you gotta become introspective. Like, okay, you start analyzing yourself, which is, you know, it's like, what is it? Like, what, you know, damn, that's.
Whew. I hate I hate that. I think the worst part is, like, rethinking your own actions.
yeah, I don't do the what if thing because it was my own fault. Because here's the thing: all those people were partnered up, and, like, I wasn't, like, savvy enough to realize it. I didn't know that everyone came in with a partner, but they did. And there was a time where, before Eric started getting like all these numbers, where his partner and 3 other women were in a room, and they were like, "So who do you want to go after, Janelle?" And I was like, "With the HOH." And I was like, "I don't know. How about like Eric?" And his partner was sitting right there. So that's, you know what I mean? Like there was so many like problems, and it was like, I don't know, like go after him. He seems like whatever. And so then they were like, "Okay, Janelle's targeting our main guy."
Go for her.
Yeah.
Shoot. Yeah, the what if will drive you crazy, man.
I lost to Yvette like on a double tiebreaker. Like Julie, like we did like the question and answer 7 questions. We tied it at 6, and so she went into a math question, and we each came up with the same number.
Was it right?
It was just a guess. It's like days or seconds. I don't remember.
Oh, wow.
But we guessed the same number.
Wow.
So then she was like, "You guys have the same answer. You have to cross it out and do another one. And here's the next question."
Wow.
And she got the second question right.
That's crazy.
So we went to double tiebreaker.
That's crazy.
I know.
And then she didn't take you to the final 2?
No. And I pulled her aside and I was like, "Look, like I'm definitely not," and I was like, "I'm definitely not winning this game," because it was all of her friends on jury, and like the other girl was like her best friend. And I was like, "You can throw me the competition, I'll take you, because if we don't take each other, Maggie's gonna win."
And Maggie won, right?
Yeah, and she had like it was like a blowout.
And listen,
Maggie didn't do anything to anyone. I was like, they hate me, and they kind of hate you. She was just kind of a mean person, you know. She's like super mouthy. Like I think she told people off in her goodbye messages. So like the jury was super salty, and she was like just taunting them constantly. And I was like, "I will take you, and you can win $500,000. I only want 50."
and she said,
And she was like, immediately went to Maggie and was like, "Janelle's trying to get me to throw her the competition." And Maggie's like, "Don't do it. She won't take you." And I would, for sure, I would have taken Yvette. I would never take Maggie. She was a huge threat to win the game.
Wow.
Crazy, huh? Did you ever talk to Yvette afterwards?
I voted for Yvette, actually.
Yeah.
And she thanked me. She's like, "I can't," because she was like my mortal enemy in the house. And I threw her a vote. I was like, "You took me out, like,
Right.
solid game, like, good for you. Here's a vote." And she's like, "You know, it meant a lot to me and my family that you voted for me, so thank you."
That's cool.
Man.
I always liked, it was weird, like, we were enemies, but I always liked Yvette more than Maggie. It was weird.
You do like your enemies in this house.
I know.
Everybody's just a freaking person at the
I
end of
know.
the day. Enemies.
It's like, even
you
if
know
we're
what I
against
mean?
each other, I still liked
Yeah.
her. I thought she had a good heart beneath all, you know what I mean? Like, she was kind of crazy, but she had good intentions, and she seemed like a caring person.
I heard her name being tossed around. I heard Yvette being tossed around for this.
I don't think she would do it.
No?
She's pretty happy. And she's got like, I think she's got really young kids.
Gotcha.
But she didn't show up. Like, we did a BB6 reunion and she didn't show up to it.
She's the only one?
Her, my old showman's Michael,
Oh.
Eric, and Maggie did not show up.
Oh, man.
They're the only ones that didn't come to the Zoom.
Damn.
To the Zoom?
Yeah.
Oh, you did this recently?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
We did like a reunion.
Yeah,
Because we
did
hadn't
that
seen each
too.
other in 15 years.
You
Man,
guys raise money for
That's
like
cool.
We did it for Evil Dick's show because it was like stay-at-home quarantine or whatever. And I think BB3 did it too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
BB3 and BB6 did like a reunion party, join the whatever party.
We did that too. Season 20 did.
Oh, you
It
did?
was like for some for a
We did
charity. Oh,
something.
you guys did too.
We did
21.
for Give Kids the World.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's my favorite charity for
Yeah.
reality TV.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they're great.
I went to the Hearts of Reality because I had just gotten out, and this guy, I get an email, this guy saying, "Hey, you should come do this." I'm just like, I lost, man. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
And you know, they tell me like, you know, it's gonna be cool. This is what we're gonna do. I'm just like, okay, cool. Like I'll go, and end up being like, you know, swim with dolphins, and we actually, and then you know, outside of it being fun, actually for